What is up, everybody? It's IHE. Today we're talking about Jurassic World Afterbirth, Gareth Edwards' new movie. First things first, why did I see this when I could have seen 28 years later again? I don't know. I'm a dino simp. I don't know what to tell you. Even though these, if you're a true dino fan, there's almost nothing more insulting than a lot of these movies. How they just don't care about anything, but I don't know. I was kind of curious about the Gareth Edwards angle. He's kind of been all over the place as a director. I don't think he's ever really made a single great film, actually. But I don't know, the creator was okay. As far as a visual feast is concerned, it was very good for its modest budget, and I guess at least it was original. But maybe he was scared of being put in director jail, and as soon as he got the chance to attach himself to another franchise, he was like, whoa, now's my chance to do Jurassic Park. I've done Star Wars, I can check that off the list. Now I can do another IP. I can do Jurassic World and add my voice to that. And also, I don't know, out of fear, perhaps let's not only make this a Jurassic Park movie, let's also make it a Jaws movie and also make it an Indiana Jones movie. This was terrible. Surprise, surprise. Not quite as bad as that last, what was it even called? I've got this tier list up to remind me. Jurassic World, the text is too small. The one that had Laura Dern in. Again, that was insultingly bad. There was some stuff about that first Jurassic World that, while still pretty bad and fan servicey, there was this underlying commentary of this film is pointless, and it was weirdly nudging at it. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but having these super dinos that are genetic experiments because everyone is so sick and tired of dinosaurs at this point, which I don't know, a little bit of a commentary on the audiences, I guess, and how you need to keep ramping things up and getting more and more extreme and silly and goofy. But from that point, it just got dumber and dumber and dumber. Now I guess this is the fourth in the Jurassic World franchise. Video game-ass story. It's basically this would be a way better video game, actually. Just to be dropped in this map and explore it and try and get 3 samples from 3 scary dinos. At least 2 scary dinos, one of them's not very scary. I guess I'll throw out spoilers here and there, because who cares? And what can you actually spoil, really, about this? I'm just going to go through some of my list, then I'm going to ramble on about what bugged me about this. Maybe I'll start with what I liked first, actually. The opening scenes outside of the first biolab sequence, which was another reason I was kind of man, they could go a schlocky direction with this that could actually be kind of funny / enjoyable in an Alien Resurrection kind of way, where just go nuts with it, you know? But the whole Jurassic World franchise has had this issue where it simultaneously wants to be a monster movie, pretty much, but also be a family movie, action movie. It just wants to be everything. It wants to be as broad as possible. It has to have kid characters in it. It's got to have every demo focus tested to the extreme, so it can really have no voice or identity of its own past a certain point. They do basically every cliche you can think of with a big action, goofy Hollywood flick like this, down to when the kid characters get introduced. Just man, really? I know it would never happen, but a horror movie with dinosaurs in could actually be awesome if you gave a shit, if you actually tried. Because these things, the fact they existed is nuts in and of itself. But then imagining interacting with one or being in an environment with one is scary stuff. And I guess some of the best parts from that original Spielberg classic are horror moments. The scene with the T-Rex in the car is horrifying. The kitchen scene. It's tense, awesome stuff, and they've basically been trying to recapture that magic where it was able to balance. This is scary, right? There's a horror element to this, but also there are characters you care about and charming direction and dialogue, great set pieces, but it's just gotten too big, too stupid, and now we're at a point where little girls are running around an island with dibby dinosaurs. There's cute little dinos that you put in your backpack now. Bro, what is that, a cynical way to try and sell merch? Probably. Trying to be cute with it. Really stupid. The last movie being a hollow embarrassment, bringing back Sam Neill and Laura Dern, and just leaning into the nostalgia so heavily that it's grown worthy, it's pathetic. And I don't know, I don't know why I would have assumed they would have learned their lesson from that approach, because they just do the same thing here, which is incredibly irritating. It kind of hides its power level as far as it hides its nostalgia power level with how it's like, no, we're going to do something new, I pinky promise. But then it just straight out turns into the checklist of references and scenes where it's like, right, have your raptors doing something, but how do we make the raptors cooler? Now they fly now. They fly now. The raptors fly now. And I'm not even talking about the one on the poster, like I don't even know what they were supposed to be. Just made up flying velociraptors. So you could do the kitchen scene that I just mentioned again, with a kid hiding in a small space and the reflection of the dino again. So you can have a reference of the arm being bitten off, like the first movie again. I mentioned Jaws, like the whole sequence with the water dinos, which is the first sample they got to get. It's just like, feels like they've just plucked a bunch of, right, look, we got Scarlett Johansson, we got Mahershala Ali, we got the Jurassic Park dino formula, just chuck it in the blender, shake it around. Who cares? Because idiots like me will go and see it. And that slave to the nostalgia is so suffocating that, you know, you have talent attached to it like Desplat, who did the score. And I was just talking about that as far as his score for the Phoenician Scheme. And Desplat has like a really strong voice. You can normally tell that his compositions, the palette of instruments that he uses, is very much him. And he never gets a chance in this entire movie to basically not just do an impression of John Williams in the same way Gareth Edwards is doing an impression of Spielberg, basically. There was only one little moment, and it was in the Jaws kind of sequence where a little bit of Desplat personality came through. And I was like, man, I wish the whole thing could have been like that. I wish you could just... People are going to go and see the big CG dino movie no matter what. So, like, I know, it's too much to take a risk. It's just safe, because that's what it was called, Dominion. Because look, I'm going to scroll down on the IMDb page of Dominion, and what am I going to find? I'm going to find that it made $1 billion on an under $200 million budget. So that's why they don't need to try or care. Who remembers a single thing about this movie? I don't. At least this one, I guess, has notable set pieces. The structure is so video game simple, stupid, but never like as funny and bizarre as Fallen Kingdom, where it like straight up turns into a horror movie with like they said the Joker dino was supposed to be in this Dominion one, but they're like, God, they've done these we've taken the best, most aggressive bit of a snake, the most aggressive bit of a raptor, the most aggressive bit of a T-Rex, and we've combined it all into the super dino. And it's like, man, we've already done that a bunch. I guess we've done that one, two... Was there one in Dominion? I guess there was. There was the Joker one, right? The Joker dino. So that makes... Jurassic World 1 did that. 2 did that. All of the Jurassic World movies have done that, I guess. Had like a bio-freak thing that's not supposed to exist. But now, the special sauce of the Jurassic World Afterbirth freak dino is that it looks like a Rancor from Star Wars. Man, we didn't even get like a facility scene where you're seeing all the mutants and whatnot. That could have been so much fun and so stupid. You don't get that at all. In fact, the whole... I feel scammed. I'm going to feel scammed. Like it really is building up this idea of this, oh, what's it going to do? What's the different twist on the experiment gone wrong this time? And the answer is that it's called a D-Rex. Douche-Rex. Douche. And it, I guess just is a T-Rex, but like walks around like a Rancor. Whoa, seriously, dude? A Rancor Rex? Nice one. What an inspired idea. Which extra sucks, because like David Coop, who, he wrote the screenplay to the original Jurassic Park, and recently, pretty sure, Black Bag and Presence are both amazing movies. Very good stuff. But there's also, The Mummy in there. There's The Dial of Destiny, which was terrible. And I feel like that film only gets worse with time, actually. Premium Rush was good. Yeah, he's got Crystal Skull on there, so I don't know, it's all over the place. But, he's got Spider-Man in there, Panic Room's really good, the original Mission Impossible, Lost World, so it's like, he's got some good stuff in there. There's absolutely, I guess my point is there's absolutely no reason for this to be as bad as it is, for it to be kind of as bloated, and, like, who's the main character here, really? It's kind of positioned as Scarlett Johansson, and they go through this montage in the first act of, like, everyone's got trauma, man. Everyone has something terrible that's happened to them. To give them a bit of implied texture or humanity. And you know what? She's going to go from being a slave to capitalism, and by the end, she's going to want to give the cure to the people instead of the hollow big pharma commentary that's at like the heart of it, in the same way that there was like environmental messages in the Colin Trevorrow, is that his name? Other Jurassic World movies, they kind of trick you at the beginning with the whole New York sequence, where that was kind of unexpected to me, where there is it's still a similar idea of people are sick of the dinosaurs and don't really care about them, and they're more of like an annoyance at this point, like a dinosaur escapes from a zoo and is like causing traffic in New York. That was kind of funny. There was a good shot where there's like a painting of a Parasaurolophus, and it's being painted over, like implying that people just don't really care about it anymore. I don't know, you could do something with the commentary, instead of like, oh, you need to have the T-Rex scene that just goes on and gets more and more absurd. And all the Jurassic World movies have had this problem where these enormous, like, 10-plus ton beasts that are striding around can kind of teleport, and like the manufactured audio editing, where if you were actually the character in the scene, you would definitely hear these things stomping around. Or even like the I think it's a Titanosaur, kind of in the second act, the second sample they've got to get. They're like surprised, and there are like 20,000 of them like stomping around a field, and like the way it's kind of blocked out, storyboarded, is so bad, so lazy. There were a couple of kind of fun set pieces in a vacuum, I guess. So the water stuff probably was the most enjoyable one on like a dumb action spectacle level. It does just feel like a string of set pieces kind of loosely held together with Pritt stick. But yeah, there's not a single character you really care about. They were almost winning me over with the paleontologist dude. Like, he's allowed to be a weird freak, and they kind of make fun of him for being a dork, and he doesn't care. That's kind of cool. There's one good scene with him where he's talking about the fact that dinosaurs nearly existed for 200 million years and humans have only existed for about 200,000, and we really overestimate our intelligence and stuff. Would have really liked a lot more of that, like, because that's what made Sam Neill's character in the original quite cool, and it grounded the story, where it was, yep, you got him, he actually cares about the field, about the subject matter, he's like a master in it. And then that going up against a funfair designer who like is in way over his head, that's like immediately intriguing. And then you sprinkle in, your Laura Derns and all the other myriad kind of interesting characters that have strong personalities from that original movie. Because it's just not about characters anymore. It doesn't matter. It is pure schlock and not fun schlock. It's just stupid. Like this, going back to the monstrosity dino that's been all over the marketing, implied to be like the new mega. It's the new mega dino, man. The whole sequence where, oh, look, another reference to the original Jurassic Park. He's got to get the flare out. You got to flare and then run away. And then all the music saying, implying, oh, he's going to sacrifice himself. He's got this whole thing with his son, and he doesn't feel like he has that much to live for anyway, so he's going to make something of his life and sacrifice himself to this genetic freak. But they can't even commit to that. Every single character in the main crew, we got to assemble a team, that gets killed or eaten. It's so profoundly obvious, if not just from who is cast, if their name is big enough, like a Mahershala Ali, obviously he can't die because they've got to have a new trilogy. And that's honestly where I thought they were going to go with, like, because they didn't explicitly show him die like all the other characters, so I thought, oh, are they going to like leave that as a thread, and he actually survived for the next movie, so then there's another excuse for Scarlett Johansson to go back and try and save him or something, and he's like turned into a kind of like the kid from Jurassic Park 3 who's like become a master of the environment, and he's like surviving. I don't know, that would have been something, I guess, better than what they did, where 2 seconds after you think he's died, he just sends off a flare, and I guess the big scary dino is gone. And they go and rescue him, and it's all happily ever after. And this whole inclusion of this family, and that they try and do this little arc with the dad and the girlfriend's boyfriend who he doesn't get on with. All of that just felt so frivolous and stupid. The whole reason they were taking a boat into this like insanely dangerous part of the world is just so stupid. And yeah, obviously there's never a moment where you think that any of that family dynamic is in any kind of danger, because that would be too far. Oh, here are these weird like flying raptor dinos that I guess they've created for this terrible, stupid film. Reference? Nice! Reference! Anytime it could kind of lean into some sort of pathos or world building or anything kind of cool, like they could have gone down the lab route. I could have done with like an entire act of them stuck in the lab and just goofy experiments coming out, ending with the Rancor one or something, but they go to like a temple with this guy. It's like, this was like rushed together quickly. Because why? They don't need to care. Who cares, dude? Alright, and they're like just showing it here. Rancor dino's coming for you. How scary. And the opening scene, yeah, this has just reminded me actually, which is this moment. All happens because of a Snickers bar, like getting sucked into a vent, and then somehow that releases this thing. Nice security, dude. Every single one of these movies has struggled getting the chess pieces into play to have the disaster even happen. Outside of that first one, which is like perfect for that kind of thing. You know, like the reason the kids are there makes sense. The reason everyone is involved in the story has at least some level of logic to it, you know? A paleontologist who's devoted his life to this thing is going to be curious about what this mad science team is doing, and so on and so forth. And making a theme park out of it has that inherent commentary. But I guess now you get the awesome like corporate remakes of rebirths, and we're so many rebirths deep that we're remaking scenes from the original movie with a flying raptor that now stands on a bottle of Gatorade. You know, that's where we're at. And I don't know, I guess it's only just come out, so we're not going to be able to see how much money this is making, but it's going to. Like, people in my audience were kind of laughing at some of the humor and the jokes. But it looks about the same budget as that last one, which is terrible. Like, none of the humor's really interesting or good. It's so, like, it just can't go out of these really restrictive bounds of just the broadest movie possible. It can't have a voice. It can't really have a main character that learns or changes or does anything. I guess she learns to not be willing to sell samples to a ruthless bio company that's going to only sell it to a small group of people for exorbitant prices. You know, the most obvious, like, just plug in motivation or story possible. Absolute unmitigated trash. Don't make the mistake I did and go and see this. At least I can say I can make this video about it. Just don't. Just wait for it to come to digital or whatever if you have to see it, and make fun of it or whatever you want to do. I just think it's so bafflingly embarrassing that the film from, I guess, 30 years ago now, right? 94, 93, maybe? Let me double check. Man, 93. And a lot of the look of the film is better than, for so much more money and resources and time and stories evolving since the 90s. Yeah, 63 million as well. That'd still be quite high adjusted for inflation, but some of these scenes are still like the pinnacle of the combination of CG and practical. They've just given up on that. Like there was a little bit of, yeah, we're going to do a bit of practical here and there for these Jurassic World movies. So they put that performance on, but CG'd over most of it. But here, they don't even care anymore. Like, why bother? You know? So an artless embarrassment. Let me know what you think if you've seen it. If not, go see something else. There's a bunch of good stuff out right now. There'll be a better use of your time. Bye.